Welcome everyone to another episode of Sorare Summit. This is episode 7. You are joined by myself, Yasz, and my good friend Adit. How are you, Adit?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing very good this week.
You are? I mean, the results didn't didn't show that.
Sorare is not the be all and end all, so that's why it went well.
That's what when you lose, that's what you tell yourself. But it's okay. It's always good to be positive. And like I said, I mean, you might lose this week, but you might do better next, right? So yeah, man, another really exciting weekend of Sore. We are recording this on a Friday, so we've also kind of passed through a very exciting midweek for some of us. But yeah, man, it's been a pretty awesome week. So maybe what we can do. So today, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna run through our performances, for week 375, game week 375. We'll talk a little bit our cap challenge that we have, where just to remind everyone, we actually we got two players, right? And the challenge is to see how much more they outperform their cap, and then the person that actually gets the most in terms of outperforming the cap. I mean, we will win each other's card, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about this week's version of that, and then we have some Sorare news, and then there's the usual saints, sinners, and then our highlights for next game week. So let's talk a little bit about performance. So game week 375, the last week of the Premier League, that was pretty exciting. The last week I could play my Newcastle stack. Also, I didn't get anything from that stack itself. So Adit, maybe you want to run through how was your week?
I think this is probably my worst week Sorare
Oh,
ever.
really?
And nothing was hitting, to be honest. But it's okay. Those kind of weeks happen. You just have to get on with it. To be honest, it just
Were there any lineups that you were close, like you almost felt that you could get?
honestly not much. To be honest, had Juninho not had a penalty or error lead to go, maybe. But that's a very visual thinking. To be honest, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'll probably go into our sinners. I think our sinners is probably one this purple looking dude right here that literally sinned both of us. But we'll talk
Actually,
about that a
all
little bit.
three of those guys in the middle, all can be seen as foul.
Cordova was doing very well until he got his red card, right?
Yeah, he handballed. He thought it was a foul, so he held the ball and stopped. That was the second yellow sent off. I was like,
It's pretty wild though. Like he still got a 48 pointer with, but he had a
exactly.
score. But it's like he had a negative and a positive side, so they kind of erase each other out. Okay. All right. So you also had a couple of DNPs. Okay.
Oh,
So
it's just a bad
forgetful.
week.
Just a bad week,
Horrible.
huh? Okay. So shall we just skip to my week then?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay, my week wasn't too bad. I actually got a tier 2 reward and a couple of very close calls. Okay, this was pretty bad. I think the thing about this was an academy team, which was pretty sad. But I think it's one of those weeks where the people that you expect to do well didn't do well, and the people that didn't expect to do well did well. I think the key things about this week, number one. So this was actually pretty close because Benjamin Burgervat back to form, 88 pointer. Tyler Miller now is actually killing it with a lot of AAs. Meluso, Pituka also decent AAs. I think I was just hoping for Wule to actually get a decisive in a 3-0 win, by the way. He had zero decisive in a 3-0 win. Instead, he actually got a minus score of 34. So that was painful because if he scored big and he was my captain, I would definitely get a reward for this. Cap 20 limited was pretty shit. What was the one that I won? Okay, this was actually very, very sad. As you can see, I was 3.7 points away from Eve. As you can see right here, 3.7. And and the way it happened was pretty shit because Sean Johnson, he actually conceded in the 87 minute or some shit. He scored, and then Yuya Asano, man,
Asano was such a
absolutely
letdown for
let
both of
down, man.
us.
I think he had like 4 5, like he had I think 2 big chance missed, right? Minus 10,
Yeah,
right? So that was
horrible.
super painful. And yeah, this is the team that won me the reward though. Yeah. So Batalha, oh my god, if Batalha only got his clean sheet. And this was a match they were very favored to win. Once again, in America, away games play a big, whether it's MLS, whether it's Argentinian League and all. Away games, guys. I think it's pretty crazy. Marlon is not only just scoring insanely, but the value, man. I got this guy for 10 euros, guys. He's actually good. Now his floor price is 72. last transact is roughly about 60 plus, which is pretty wild actually. Hector Herrera scored a
Unbelievable.
goal that was very nice. Zelarayan didn't score but good AA in a loss. And then Carranza, man, out of nowhere to me, 3-1. I didn't expect much from this team, but I got 64, so a tier 2. And I actually won a goalkeeper, Zach McMuff, which is also not too bad. That's about it though, actually. Yeah, so I think I'm pretty happy with my results for this week. At least I got a goalkeeper, another extra goalkeeper. I was able to offload Steve Clark because now I got Zach McMuff, so I don't have to play with Steve Clark anymore, which is another shitty player. But yeah, so I think that's basically
How
our
did
game week
Meluso
numbers.
do? I saw him in your lineup just now. Did he
Manuso
do
did okay. AA was decent but not strong. Yeah, expected more for him not to concede a goal, right? Usually he will score about
exactly?
70, 80. So nah, but I think like I said, it wasn't one of his best matches, but still decent, I guess, for someone, this could have been a reward winning I would say lineup if I had
Yeah,
certain things go my way. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is our cap challenge players. So just to remind everyone, so Mr. Adit here chose Jordi Alciva. I think his L15 was about 48 or 45, roughly around
yeah.
there, right? Okay, and then the thing is that he had an L5 of 67. So in theory, this was actually a very good choice. Like last week when you said this guy, I was like, oh man, you got a good choice, and you had a good lineup too. But then again, the ball is round, guys. The ball is so round. It's because this guy scored a grand total of 36.6. So he had a negative -2. He did not exceed his cap. He actually got a -2. So in order
And
for Adit, yeah, go ahead.
and they were heavy favorites to win. So I thought, okay, it made sense at that
They did
point.
they did win. They did win, right? It's just
No, they lost. They lost 2-3.
they are independent value. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, I thought they
Yeah.
were league.
Ah,
So sad.
sad.
What was your thoughts on this, man?
I saw it slowly going down. I was like, oh god, here we go again.
So my player was also did not do very well. It's Trevor Chalobah, whose L15 at that point was actually 30 plus.
Yeah,
Now he's up to 40, but it was 30 plus. 36 or 37, if I'm not wrong.
36. Yeah,
36, right?
yeah.
And he, it's surprising I'm making money on him, by the way, which is pretty interesting. I did not expect that. Funny thing about him is that he did badly also, but he had a 39.5. So he
How do
exceeded
you
his cap
win
by only
outperforming
1 point.
by
No,
three?
I realized he's 38. His L15 last week was
Oh,
38. So which means he exceeded it by 1.58. So which means I won, guys, by a grand total of 1.58. And because I won, I get the Georgie Alciva card is now is mine. So as you can see, I own one
yes.
of these cards. So thank you, Adit. Uh, so this week we are going to do the same thing, right? Do you want to introduce? And okay, another thing that we are going to do also our giveaway. We are going to extend the rare giveaway that we have because we don't have that many people joining in. So this week we're just going to roll that giveaway through, and then yeah, so you guys can still have a chance to win a rare card, guys. So a guy that plays. Doesn't play well, but plays, definitely plays every match for Urawa. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, so now let's go to our this week's cap challenge. So you have chosen this guy, which has a
Gerardo
very
Artiga.
high L15, by the way.
True. But I think he has a favorable fixture. It's their last game of the season. I think, and it's a winnable game for them. So I am banking on that. He's in a bit of form. I wouldn't say amazing form, but a bit of form. And I'm hoping. And I was following the previous game. He was doing pretty well. So if they have a positive result, I think he is going to score pretty decently.
Uh, in all honesty, I would love to win this card because I think this guy is a very good performer. He has pretty awesome scores. It's just that this year Gang was pretty shit as a team. Gang was not as good. They had a couple of managerial changes and all. So I'm hoping for them to do very well because this guy usually scores pretty well. So I'm hoping to win this card though. So I'm trying to win this card with my card, with my choice, which is Manuel Boateng. So he has an L15 of 41 right now. He actually just had a really strong game last this midweek. He actually scored a goal there. He has a 72. The rest of the scores are pretty scary. I hope that he just hits here or hits here, one of the green ones, and I'm pretty happy. But I mean, when you think about it, out of the last one, 7 games that he's played, only 2 of them are below 40.
Yeah,
So which means and his cap is still, like I said, at 41, right? So I mean, in terms of fixtures, NYCFC is the one,
pretty
but it is an
meh. They're
yeah,
not
it's a bit
anything
meh, but
special.
it's still an away match also. So
True.
that's also something to know about Major League. So we'll see. So that's who my player is. So Emmanuel Boateng versus Gerardo Arteaga. So guys,
I love how both of our players in 2 weeks have been nearly exact same value. Like literally both weeks,
yeah,
nearly
exactly.
exact same.
Exactly. So also like I said, I mean, if you guys have any thoughts, you guys spam the comments and think if you guys have any thoughts of who might win, or maybe that's the competition that we use, right? Like if you want to win the red card, you guys got to actually spam. Think tell us in the comments who you think would win, Emmanuel Boateng or Gerardo Arteaga. Okay, so that
Me.
is the yeah, we'll see. So that's the challenge. That's the cap challenge that we have. Okay, let's talk a little bit about news. Okay, so one news that happened this week is that, and you know what, I think I should show it. So as you guys probably know, Denis Bounga, the LAFC striker, has got his own card signed. It looks really nice, by the way.
It
So
looks
let me just load it.
amazing. It's work of
Yeah.
art.
So let me see. Dennis.
Wait, if you
Uh,
escape the name, it actually shows up on who to follow just now. If you saw, like when you
really?
escape this, yeah, yeah, press the side, scroll down a bit.
Uh, oh, there it is. Okay, that's
That's
good. Okay.
exactly.
So Dennis Bounga right here. Okay, so he's doing really well, by the way. I mean, in terms of just scoring. There we go. This is the one right here. So he has. So if you guys don't know, if you are an actual player and you're on Sorare, and you're a Sorare manager, Sorare gives you your own rare card with your signature on it, and it's beautiful, man. Do you know
Such a
that
clean card.
do you know that there was one guy, I think, Tony Watt? He's a pretty popular, he's a football player that plays in the Scottish League, but he's also
Yep.
a big Sorare guy. He actually does, I think, a podcast with Queenie. So
Yep.
he actually got cards for all of his teammates in Aberdeen or something, and then actually he got them to transfer it to them.
Transfer
And
it.
then yeah,
I
and
heard
then he
about
used it
this.
as giveaway, and then he used it as giveaways, which so I don't know whether Dennis Buanga would do that though. I mean, Adit, this is just a question for you. I mean, how does
Sure.
it feel like, man, to see like actual real players playing Soria or being part of Soria?
Oh, that's like a very good thing to see. If players are willing to get onto this trend and start playing, I think that will push and influence fans to also get into the game. Maybe not in the pay to win capacity, but even just playing the amateur leagues, it helps. Slowly they can move towards the pay to win. So this is always going to be like bullish for Sora.
And I think people also don't know that. I think in terms of investors for Soria, it includes people like PK, Griezmann. These are actually early adopters, like even way before us, that actually had believed in Soria like long time ago. And now there's so much crazy content that's actually centered around players. I don't know whether you saw John Nellis's one. John Nellis is a very popular, really nice guy. I when I first started out, is it Gohn? Is
I
it?
think it's GOH.
So he's someone that I followed, a lot of people who's brand new to Sorare would follow. So now he's like a proper Sorare content creator, and and yeah, man. So it's really crazy because his favorite player, if you follow his streams, is actually Parejo. This guy called Parejo from Villarreal, right? And he's doing content with Parejo now. So it was always been a running joke, in his streams or in his YouTube videos that he loves Parejo, and here he is actually doing content with Parejo himself. I think that's wild, man. I think the ability that the kind of like ability now that the two worlds of fantasy and actually real world football kind of joining in is actually pretty good for the whole Sorare ecosystem. I hope it kind of brings new people in also. I think that's what's really we want in the end. Yep.
The growth of users, and if players are willing to start playing also, it can only mean good things, hopefully.
True. We're talking about players and talking about I've been pretty hard on collections. So I like to actually show off my collections.
As you should.
So I've actually completed two collections at the moment. Of course, the first one, as a Newcastle fan, I've actually managed to complete my Newcastle United FC collection. I'm pretty close to the plus 4%. I will get the plus 4% once most of these players hit the 90 days. I'm actually ranked fifth in the world, which is pretty wild, actually. And here it is, man. All of them in their full glory. And I think this, I mean, it's not just so that it's two-pronged approach for me, right? I like collections, number one, because of the XP boost. Because of that, right, like players like Kieran Tripper, for example, right? I think I have him now at like almost at 12% in terms of XP. I think before the new card season hits, these cards, if they have a good form in the start of the season, it's going to be so amazing
Oh,
because these
you
guys are,
could get well ahead of people.
yeah,
Just
these guys all have 12, 15% kind of before the 5% hit comes in, right? When a new card comes out. So I'm really looking forward to that. And by then they will have the 4%. So you're talking about easily 12, 13% for I think a lot of my first team players. Because I bought the big hitters early, like Trippier, I bought Gumares, or I bought them really high, right? Almiron even. So hopefully they stay. And I do see Newcastle keeping a lot of their core.
yeah,
I hope they do, because I think they should. They've done really well. They just need to build from it. But yeah, man, having this team collected, and this is the first ever. This is technically the first run of cards on Sorare for Newcastle, because there was never ever a Newcastle team stack beforehand. That's one. Then number two, there's also this is the team that actually got us to the Champions League for the first time in like 15, 20 years or some shit like
congrats
that.
for that. Actually, that's a huge
Yeah,
achievement. Congrats.
exactly, man. And then, yeah, and yes, and it's also my favorite club. So I think all of that, and then plus the XP boost, no brainer for me to have this whole collection. So that's one. The other collection I have, and which I just completed, is actually Mr. Kobe, man. The team that I watched live just a few weeks ago. I've just passed through the 3%. They also would cover the 4% once they hit 90 days. And yeah, and surprisingly, some of these players, actually quite a big chunk of these players don't play for the team anymore, but they play for different teams. Like I think this Kento Hashimoto plays in the second division and actually plays well in the second division.
Yeah.
And then where is the other one? Where is it? Yuki
Oh,
Kobayashi.
Boyan
Pretty
is
sure.
there.
No, Boyan is, I think, Boyan, I think, retired. Yuki
Uh,
Kobayashi plays at Celtic as a central defender, and he's supposed to start next season. So I'm really looking forward to that also. So yeah, there are some really nice gems here, and I still have the usual, man. I got my Hatsuse, I got my Sakai, I got my Yuya, and my Muto. So yeah, so very happy with this.
what would make you sell any of these cards like a Newcastle?
I won't.
Never.
These two cards will be stuck in my gallery forever. And I think there's also some sentimental value for me. Like for me, this is a representation of me going to Kobe,
True.
and actually watching them. So that's one of the reasons why I did that. So yeah, man. So it's also like kind of scratching my itch when I was all the sticker book back in the day, Panina sticker books, like World Cup sticker books. So this is sort of so okay. That's my take. How about you, man? Adit? How do you feel about collection so far? And are you gonna have your own collection soon?
I'm hoping to get a collection for Michilan. I've checked the pronunciation from last week. I know that was a question, Michilan. So I'm trying to build a collection on that slowly. Now I've got funds after selling a few players, so I might start investing some because now their league is ending very soon. I think this is the final game week, so I think slowly I'll start collecting even the cheap, smaller cards. So it'll be nice
Yeah,
to have.
man. There will be some cards that are dirt cheap, man. Like some of these goalkeepers are like $1, $2, right?
Exactly.
But then there are some cards that are just super hard. Like for me, this
On
Mitsuki Hidaka, he's not even playing, but there's so little people selling it. I had to
yeah.
buy this card for $10. So it was not easy. Yeah. So there's some cards that's very cheap, some cards are very, very expensive. Yeah. You just gotta, slowly but surely try to get out of them. It's like
And
Pokemon, man, gotta catch them all.
and then, hey, that was my line, by the way. I remember I put on the group chat. I still remember this. But as you were saying, right, like the XP boost, like even last week, I had Isaacson from Michelin. I put him as captain, and he got a very decent amount of XP
XP
boost for
boost,
that.
yeah,
So it
exactly.
will help for all captains. Like for you, Trippier, unbelievable. You captain him,
Yeah.
and he does well. You're well ahead of people.
Yeah, but the thing about it is also like some of these cards, so some of the XP boosts, right? Like you want the big ones, right? Like you
Mm.
want the numbered one or you get from auctions and oh my god. Now, because of that, auctions are now expensive.
Yeah.
Like some cards are going for about 10-20% more just because they are auction and they are meant for collections.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I think yeah, it helps a lot now in terms of value. Like cards are going up in value again, which is
Yeah.
nice. And if you've invested quite a bit or you have a lot of cards in your gallery, now's a pretty good time to sell, especially Asian and American cards, man. I'm buying a lot of European cards and actually selling off using Asian cards that's increased in value.
Yeah.
So I'm able to get like people. Like I might share, but I have like really some strong hitters for next year that hopefully will do well. Yeah. Okay. So I think okay we can probably. So another thing is threshold, right? Like we are starting to feel that. I mean, as you see, like I did hit threshold last week, and now he's not hitting. I missed threshold for my rare. I usually hit my threshold. So I think the question is, I think I did me also for you, right? How hard is the threshold for you? Like, do you think they should lower the cap, or do you think it's fair? What's your thoughts on the threshold?
Honestly, I think it is fair, even though I've struggled to get threshold over my 6 month period of playing playing for threshold. Like I've hit it only once, but to be honest, 50 points per player, it shouldn't technically be that hard. So I understand the 250, but it's just I don't know what it is. I can never get that team selection right because I always try to get prizes from other modes. So then I think I kind of neglect the 240 and threshold goes out of the window. But
So
I
I
think
think I think that, so I think why 250 is I feel 250 is a little bit high. But then also if you make it too low, it becomes too easy for people. But 250 is how you know why. Okay, this is my reasoning also, right? Number one, getting AA to get 50 is super hard. There's only a
50.
few players that you know can hit 50 AAs. That's one. Then you need people with decisive, but decisive is not unless you're having like someone like Harlan or like now Cherny that I have like literally almost every match, or Bounga who's almost guaranteed decisive every match. It's hard, man. It's impossible for you to find those. And even if these places are too expensive, it's like $100. Like, I'm not gonna buy $100 to try to make like $5.
Just to make $5
So
exactly.
yeah, exactly right. So I think that's the tough part. Like the good players are too expensive, but then you want to try out with the cheaper players, they might not be as consistent. So because of that, you hit some, you don't hit some, right? Scouting plays a huge part, man. I think matchups play a huge part, but even then also like there's no guarantee. So
Exactly.
so
Like
I don't know, man. I still feel it should stay, but it is getting tougher though. It's not getting easier. And then with the European leagues closing, there's lesser groups of players to kind of the pool of players get smaller also to kind of get the stuff that you need.
what would you if you had to change the point system for this, how much would you
I
make
put
the
230.
two
Then I don't need 50 each, right?
Yeah, because you need
230,
46. Yeah,
which is fair, right?
fair enough. 10
Right, just
AA,
slightly,
give or take.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would probably put at 230 and all. But yeah, we'll see
Mhm.
though. I mean, that's the tough part, man. And you must understand that it's a cap 240. So these guys all cannot exceed the cap of 240, but they have
Yeah,
to outperform it by 50. Right? So
yeah.
that means yeah, right. Actually, no, wait. 240 divided by 5 is
Is 48.
exactly. So all of them have to exceed their cap. So which means you can't play someone like Haaland in also if you want to. Yeah.
Unless you
So
mud the rest of the team, but then you also
exactly.
like go
Haaland can't
against.
score 250 on his own. His max he can score is probably 120, 130, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah. So yeah, not easy, not easy, but we don't know. I feel let's see how it goes. And then I think I have trust that Sorare has the data that they have, and they'll probably do whatever that needs to be done.
And if they make it too low, then they'd be like running out of. They're burning through their own
Exactly.
cash anyway. So
Exactly. Okay, next section. Your favorite bro. Saint and
actually,
sinners.
my saint would be Hendrik Bondman here.
Oh,
He's been
nice.
in decent form, Like I just put him into random lineups, but he actually has been performing, getting 60, 70. So for me, one of the positives, even though he performs quite decently in recent times.
Okay, you got another sin, or you want me to go to
All
sin?
three in the middle over there. All
Sinners.
sins, all three, all in one lineup too. Just got hammered in this.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty rough. And I think for me, my sinner I can speak. I don't have to move. Is actually Yasz Adit because he cost me my threshold. So he cost me $50. If he had just 35, I'm done. I don't even need him to score. I just need to. You get 34, I'm done. I'm okay.
Exactly.
Not,
That's the
yeah,
most frustrating thing. Just
yeah,
play. Don't do anything. He would have got it.
yeah.
That's
Just don't
exactly
miss chances, man. So
exactly.
So yeah, so that was tough. That's tough. I think for me, it's definitely Yasz Adit. In
Mm.
terms of my Saint, I had a few actually this week. I think Benjamin Beauregard, he's
Yep.
not going to leave my club. The fact that he's a reward, find it absolutely insane. I hope he stays in bronze for another year. Uh, and I think he can definitely, he's a fantastic, fantastic player. So he's one that did very well. Who else? Let me go up.
Oh,
Look,
you have a lot
yeah,
of Saints.
but
This,
some of them, oh, Marlon definitely though.
of course.
Marlon will be there. Muto was also pretty insane. Carranza also did pretty well. Yeah, I have a lot of say now. Even Cheney did very well. Cheney's on fire, by the way. Cheney's like on
He's unbelievable.
every. And I tell you, Cheney, like, let us look at Cheney for a bit, right? The wild thing is that I bought him late, right? I didn't buy him this week. I bought him for this midweek. I saw him, oh my God, this is insane. And I know that I thought I was going to overpay for him. I was like, oh, holy shit. I was talking in the chat, right? I said, okay, I'm overpaying for this guy. But his guy is like a definite scorer. And look at that, man. He actually went up the size 63, dude. I'm not losing any money on him. He's at 41. I paid 38 for him, dude.
You know, when I saw
So
his picture, if I didn't know his age, I would think he's like 35 just off the picture.
no, but dude,
And
he
he's
looks
so
like this,
young.
right? No, when you look at his I watched him play yesterday, right? He looks like Iron Robin, no? Like he has the Iron Robin feel. He's thin, he's small, he's not that big, very slender, and he's very fast. He likes to cut through. His goal yesterday that he scored another goal today, but he got like another 80, he got 76 yesterday.
Yeah.
He scored a goal. His goal was literally Arjen Robin's like was cut through, pass through, and stuff like that. Pretty wild. Yeah. So yeah, man,
Maybe
he did
someone to
pretty
look
well.
for next season for myself.
Yep, if his price is good, though. I mean, I think at 38, I'm going to keep him forever right now.
Fair
Pretty
enough.
well. And not forever, at least for next season. I think it's forever is a bit too long.
And if you make a decent profit on him, it's
Exactly,
all
man.
well and good.
Exactly, man. So yeah, I think those are our sin and sinners. Oh my God, we are going through this week very, very fast, man, dude.
Sadly, there's not much news going on in the world of Sora, so that's why we're burning it through it.
So maybe we can talk a little bit. So any new I would say new players that you've bought this week?
I in terms of buying players, no, but I've been selling because now the European season for most teams have finished. So right now I've sold like 8 players in the last few days. I was not expecting to even sell like 3 or 4. So suddenly 8 sold. I was like, yes, I'll take the money. I might
Nice.
take out the money for myself, or I'll see if I want to buy people.
Are
'Cause
you looking for any players that you kind of have your eyes on?
I think I had said it on the chat. It's between Atsuki, Aito, and Alvarado. Both
Okay.
of them are decent scorers, so I'm not sure. Like, I'm just a bit off for Alvarado. I can buy Aito now, but his price is quite high considering there's
That's true.
very little supply of him. So I don't know whether I'd be overpaying, like you were talking
Ito
about.
is Ito is overpaying because he actually had like
Hmm.
crazy midweek, right? He actually had two
Yeah.
decisive. He had 90 plus score last week. So I have Ito too. I think Matthew on our chat also has Ito.
Yeah.
Ito's really good for AAs, man. He's not the best decisive scorer.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely out of the norm for him to actually score those decisive. But yeah. But the thing is Urawa's on fire, man. It's a good team to
Yeah.
play on. So I think there's some teams that you want to look at for J League that's really good. It's actually Urawa's, Kashima Antlers. They also on a very good run. And of course Kobe. But Visa Kobe is already a little bit expensive. Yeah.
Overpriced.
And then I'll stay away from Marinos because of their rotation. So there are some players he doesn't rotate, but he has this stupid capability of, sometimes playing certain players, sometimes playing not. So yeah. Yeah.
Like I was looking at some of Marino's defenders, but their prices are kind of high for some of them. But they score decently, so I'm like on a bit of a confusion. Like, do I just bite the bullet, or do I wait for a certain drop in form? So, what would you, if you were the manager? What would you look for?
What? Sorry, for someone who drop in. I like to get someone cheaper, right? Drop in form. Like if this guy actually has is like Benjamin Good last week was actually a lot cheaper than this week.
Yeah,
Simply because he was the only guy that didn't
he didn't
score
get it.
decisive, right? So but he actually went down like $1-2. So that's the time I buy because this guy is a scorer, but
Yeah,
everybody has off games or everybody just doesn't have the luck. For
yeah,
example, like this week, like Wule, for example, I think Wule is a good buy.
yeah.
You want to get him, his price went down. Maybe I saw some people giving it to traders and not just because of one match it didn't work out. Or even like good one like Johnny Russell now. Johnny Russell is injured right now, right? he's like, I think there's like 4 or 5 of them in Power right now. Power has 4 or 5 Johnny Russells. Johnny Russell, when he comes back, he's an insane scorer, right? So stuff like that, I would kind of look at. I think for you, right, if you want to take a really nice like punt on a very good player that scores insane, you should look at Cecina, man. I know it's K-League, I know it's all, but for $40 on Cecina, it's pretty wild. Like, he's $100 player easily. It wasn't because of the stupid K-League. And I think a few weeks ago he scored like 90. He just last week he scored 90 plus. Yeah. So he's coming back to form also. So yeah. So I think that's buy them when they're off form. It's better than buy them when they're in form. Yeah. Unless you need, like, I bought Cherny in form, but the thing is, I had the mind thinking that, okay, even at $38, if this guy score like that, and his contract is 2026, if I'm not wrong. So if he doesn't move, right, he's gonna come back and play again and shit.
True.
He's gonna come back and score the same because 20 is the same. They're always mid-table, right? So half of the games they probably do very well. So that's why I was keeping him thinking of Europe. So that's why I'm starting to fill my team up with Europe players and keep getting rid a lot of my Asia and America players, because I think a lot of them has actually increased in price. Yeah.
And you were talking about Russell just I was looking at his teammate Saloy, who's actually been in good form.
So a lot of people are saying that Kansas City is a good because they're playing 4 matches at home. And so far they've won every home match that they've had, right? I think the last 2 they've won pretty convincingly also. So that's why Saloy is interesting. Russell would have been amazing if he wasn't injured.
100%.
But he was injured. There's another guy called Fontas.
Fontas.
The defender. AA monster. Definite AA monster. So if you want to kind of look at him also, that's pretty good shout. Yeah. I think for me, like, I think on my end, I have definitely kind of increased my the cards that I have that from the Europe section, because now I have a lot of cards. I have like 125 Europe, but a lot of it is also because of collections. But you minus off collections, right? Let me just look at leagues. Right. So not many here, but defenders, for example, there I got Martin Wyszynski. So this guy is what I'm kind of looking at. He's very young, played very well for Westerlo. I think is it Westerlo? No, or Kortic, sorry. So he could actually be someone that I think even Chaloba also. Luckily you didn't win him because I want to keep him for future also. Because I think he could play pretty well. Even if you get a loan, it's also pretty good. Another Benjamin very good, and of course Saka. That's my big one so far. So Saka is a really good scorer. So I definitely want to keep him and fly him up for U23s. Definitely. Forward wise, I don't have that much. I have Seni is the only one that I've actually kind of bought. Rossi I bought for 1 game. I'm hoping he goes back to the MLS. He's actually a very good player. He played pretty well in a lot of teams. So I would like to see him. I think he's a good MLS bound striker. So I'm going to keep him for that, because I think he would score insane in MLS. So those are some of my moves that I'm making, or at least for my team. A lot of more, I would say, European leagues and stuff like that. Yeah. And so, like I was saying, right, suddenly this guy, he's actually a European player, even though he's a Kashima stat. He's actually a decent. Kobe stat, right? I bought him because of Kobe, and if you look at his SO5,
scoring decent.
He plays for Hearts, sorry. Plays for Scottish League. Yeah. So
not bad. He's slowly picking up in form.
Exactly. There's a lot of Japanese in the Scottish League. That's very interesting, actually.
It's the most random crossover.
Exactly. Okay. I think that's about it. We don't have to go too crazy this week. So Adit, are you excited for this coming week? Do you think that you got the good team that could finally get you threshold and a nice little reward, hopefully?
I don't think I'm getting threshold this week. I know I'm not going to get threshold. If I even get 200 points, I'd be shocked. That's how bad the lineup is for this week.
Okay, then we hope for the best. I'm hoping also I think my definitely lesser lineups, because I don't have Premier League anymore, which is sad. It's always nice to watch Newcastle matches with an eye on how my players are doing. So I have my Kobe stack. I have a couple of MLS players, couple of all the cap modes and stuff. And I realized that, after playing all my players, I have like 40 players left that's unplayed. So I probably will start to either sell or trade those for European players next year. So that's the plan. So
that's what I was doing. Those who I weren't playing this week, I pressed on like not in lineup, and I was just starting to sell players. So now I can't put like 2 or 3 lineups just because I'm selling players.
Understood. Okay, so I think that's about it for this week. Thank you guys for joining. As per usual, check out our socials, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, of course, where you can actually watch this and see our beautiful faces. And yeah, man, definitely, comment, like, share, do the usual stuff. And yeah, man, have a good weekend ahead. Adit, any last words?
Um, Please tune in to the giveaways. Hopefully, we'll get bigger cards. You never know who we might put up. So keep a lookout for
Definitely.
that.
Okay. All right, man. Thank you. Peace out. See you guys soon.